finally got some snow, and I thought what better time to review my 2018 430i BMW M Sport. This one has the xDrive, which as you can imagine, does fantastic in the snow. And I'ma never give it back to you, so you can just forget it. We should just forget it how we hit it. Due to the fact that I live in Michigan, this was a necessity when I was looking to buy a 4 Series BMW. One of the first things I should mention about this car is the paint. I chose to get a little bit wild of a color. You see a lot of silver, gray, white, black. So this is Snapper Rocks Blue, which is actually named after a location that is prime for surfing. And I guess the color kind of speaks for itself. It looks like ocean water. Highly recommend you get the M Sport. The M Sport comes with a steering wheel which visually looks a lot better and physically to the touch is smoother than the non-M Sport steering wheel. Also, the seats have adjustable bolsters and an adjustable base, which are really comfortable. It supports the bottom of your legs opposed to having them just overhang. The M Sport also comes with an upgraded bumper, which is very similar to the M4 bumper, missing a few accents, but it is definitely the better of the options. The M Sport also comes with upgraded wheels, which are larger in diameter. This 430i did not come with a black roof. I had vinyl wrapped it, which I still have to do the antenna. But I just wanted to make it look visually a little bit more like an M4 because let's be honest, that's the better looking option. I also added these gloss black mirror cap covers that are styled after the M4. And these double finned grills, which are also M4 feature. Getting your key out of your pocket, hitting lock and unlock all the time is kind of a pain in the butt. I know this is common on a lot of new cars, but I haven't had a lot of new cars. So this feature really is awesome to me. This is how you unlock it, and this is how you lock it. The interior is extremely spacious and extremely comfortable. This has the cold weather package, which includes a heated steering wheel and heated seats, driver and passenger. Unfortunately, not the rear. It's a little bit finicky, you gotta get it just in the right spot. When getting into the vehicle, there's a seatbelt assist, which actually pops out and hands you the seatbelt because it's a little bit further back than, most people would like to reach for. The car is equipped with paddle shifters, which is a lot of fun. They work well, which I've seen a lot of cars that have paddle shifters and they're not as responsive as I would like them to be. So these work really well, they shift fast, it's a lot of fun. The iDrive is BMW's infotainment system and it has a lot of features. So you have your radio, which if you pay for Sirius XM, you can get satellite radio. There's FM, AM, music collection, CD, DVD, Bluetooth audio, USB. The navigation on this car works really well, and to enter the address you can do voice to text, which is very convenient. So let's hit enter address, speak address.
Please say the desired address or a point of interest.
Oakland University, Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Oakland University School of Music, Theater and Dance, Rochester Hills. Say yes, or select another entry from the list.
Yes.
Oakland University School of Music, Theater and Dance, Rochester Hills was selected. Guidance has been started.
So with this feature, it works really well. It always hears exactly what you say. However, Oakland University is a big school, so the keywords of just saying Oakland University, it's going to give me a ton of different options. But if I were to put in a home address or something very specific, like let's say Outback Steakhouse in Troy, Michigan, it's going to know exactly what I'm talking about, which is really cool because a lot of times on the Apple iPhone, for instance, which is what I have, is you will do voice to text and it will slaughter every single thing you said. So it's very cool that BMW got that right. I don't know if it has something to do with the microphone or the AI, but it just works. When I first got this car, this blew my mind. This absolutely blew my mind. It has the weather on here. It has the news, it has the internet, you can look up a bunch of stuff. But the amount of in-depth detail they went with checking the weather hour by hour, and it automatically defaults to wherever you're at GPS location wise. That is crazy to me. The sunroof option has these nice little vents in it, so you can pop open the sunroof but keep the shade closed and it will still vent out of the car. This sound system in this car, I don't believe it's a Harman Kardon. I thought it was at first, but I see no markings on any of the speakers. I don't see it on the radio. So I didn't get the window sticker with this car when I purchased it. So I don't really know all of the options, you know, that it came with that are extras or added, what have you. But this, if this is the base model sound system in this car, it is fantastic. It's got excellent bass, which I've always been a fan of bass, but now that I'm getting older, I want to, you know, tone it down a little bit. I could do with a 6-inch or an 8-inch factory subwoofer. And this, oh, it just sounds great. It really hits hard. It's just enough. It's adult-like. It's not vibrating anything. In terms of sound deadening and insulation, this car is very quiet. However, the suspension is very stiff. So it bounces a lot, it handles really well, but it's not overly bouncy. It doesn't bounce to the point where you're like, oh my God, get me out of this car. You feel like your organs are shaking. It bounces just enough. You can feel a lot of the road, which personally I like. This is a sportier car. I don't really want to be floating around like I'm in a 7 Series. I think we've come to the point where I show you just exactly what this car can do in the snow. And this going uphill on what I would consider, as you can see, a very icy road, it does its job. And once you get speed, it maintains that grip. The steering isn't heavy, but it's definitely stiff, if that makes sense. You know, it's not like it has no power steering. Now, if you want a little more power out of this car, you should go with the 6-cylinder turbo. The 4-cylinder turbo is great, but I slightly regret not getting the 6-cylinder, but this car came along, it was the perfect spec in my opinion, and I had to have it. And I was ready to get out of my other car, so it just kind of all lined up. I don't regret it, but I kind of regret it. I don't know, I'm on the fence. I have to remind myself that this is just a daily driver, not some crazy sports car, not my race car, whatever. This is just a normal daily driver. If I put it in perspective like that, this is perfect. I don't need anything more. When I first bought this car, I was at about 30 miles to the gallon. Since I run it in sport mode all the time, basically 95% of the time, my gas mileage has dropped down to 24, and it kind of has stayed there. It's gone up like 0.1 and gone down 0.1. But other than that, it's pretty much at 24. And that's driving the car, you know, spirited, let's say. Which, 24 miles a gallon is not too bad. It's getting hot in here.